Welcome to Living Boldly Conversations, hosted by Trailblazer Femme. Today, I have with me Regina Robinson, and I am Thrive with Dr. B, Bumi Akikube, one of the co founders of Trailblazer Femme. Trailblazer Femme is the executive hub for professional women of color where we live boldly at work and at life. And these conversations are curated specially, focused on accelerating career growth, promoting life purpose, personal development, executive presence, and everything living boldly at work and at life. So, welcome here today and glad to have you here. And with me today is Regina Robinson. And I'm going to have her introduce herself and say a little bit about herself before we jump into today's conversation, which is the confident you. My other co-host, Coach Fofo, is not here today, but if you know her, you know she's the queen of unstoppable. So we've met another queen of unstoppable and confidence, and it's so great to have you on here today. Welcome, Regina.
Well, thank you so much. I'm excited to be here with you on Thrive, Dr. B. Thank you for having me as one of your guests. And I am ready for all things Trailblazer Feminine. It's an amazing show. I'm excited to be here. And I'm excited about the conversation. And so, again, I am to everyone, I'm Regina Robinson. I am a midwife for authors who want to write and publish their book. I help women to reshape their story into a message to create a movement that attaches to their mission, where they can show up to the world through their book, through speaking on stages and wowing the world with their story. I am what they call the inner confidence curator, and I help you go from being stagnant to unstoppable. And I am the champion of the movement, Unstoppable Women of Faith. And I am excited again to be here with each and every one of you.
Awesome. Thank you, Regina. Regina is an award winning global speaker, best selling author, and inner confidence strategist who's widely known for engaging, motivating, and equipping women with the tools to unlock their inner confidence and become unstoppable. So I am so excited to have you on here today. And
Yes.
like you all always know, our conversations are usually impactful and to the point. So today we're just going to jump right into it. And yes, I'd like Regina to speak a little bit about her background as a professional woman. Um, what have you done career wise? And we'll start from there.
Well, awesome. So I am a former high school educator. I am a former college professor. I am a former woman who worked in corporate America for quite some time in residential and commercial property management. And now I have been a full-time entrepreneur in two arenas and two businesses in the space for the last 12 years, running a college planning services for high school students and a women's movement and international speaker platform on the women's platform.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you. So, one question I would like to start with today, and I'm wondering if it's a fact or a myth. Many
Mm.
people say that confidence is innate, that you're born with it. What are your thoughts about that? Are you either born confident or non-confident? Can you build skills and confidence? How? What are your thoughts about that?
So I believe we come out kind of like for your own personality. Everybody has from day one, right? As you're a little baby and then you start getting older, then you started getting older. You have that kind of spunk or that tenacity or that kind of edge to you. And then as you get older and you start to get in school with other kids, and then you start to get in the next level of school, then the next level of school, then life as adulthood, people start to chip away at that tenacity, that confidence that you already have, right? So I can remember back on the playground when I was in elementary school and middle school, where kids would always say, "You think you cute? You're not cute. You ugly, right?" But you thought you were cute until they said that
Right.
several times. And then it made you start to believe, were you in fact not cute? Were you, in fact, not smart? Were you, in fact, not the prettiest girl on the playground, right? And so that started to allow that pull from your confidence, that pull from your tenacity, or that little spunk that you had in you, because people said it. When in fact, always, so those are the mean girls on the playground who probably were not as cute as you. So they had the issue, not you. But unfortunately, they gave you that stereotype, which then made you question who you were and question the confidence that you had on the inside of you. And so until you discover older as a woman that, you know what, my confidence is not built upon how others see me, but it's truly how I see myself. It's truly what I believe about who I am, and it's truly how I believe that I am and what I have to give to this world. So I believe, yes, it's a fact that we are born with our own dose of the confidence that we have, whether it's a large dose, small dose, medium dose. The world just tries to steal it from us. But I encourage every woman, every man watching, take your confidence back, because it's yours to own, not anyone else's.
Oh, I love that. Take your confidence back because it's
Yes.
yours to own. Beautiful, beautiful. And, I so resonate with that because on many levels, especially for us women, there's so many things that chip at our confidence. And once you have that first chip, the second chip, you begin to doubt yourself. Many people talk about imposter syndrome and everything, just one chip here and there, but
Mhm.
knowing fully well that each of us is unique and there's something special about you and there's a special flavor you bring to this world. And the more you own that and step out in that confidence, then the more confidence you get. And I also believe that confidence improves with practice. The more you use it, the more you improve at it. What are your thoughts about that?
Oh, absolutely. And it's a day to day thing, right? It's a day to day. Sometimes you have to take your confidence back from you, right? And so sometimes you have to talk to your negative self chatter that you tell yourself that I'm not enough, or you messed up, or you failed. How did you do that? You should have known better, right? Sometimes you got to take your own confidence back from you, because the world can only steal partially of your confidence. But when you start talking to yourself the wrong way, you take away all of your confidence. And so we need to be careful what we're speaking to ourselves and how we're speaking in to ourselves. And so don't allow yourself to get so caught up with what's going on around you in the world that you forget that you are uniquely made. You have a purpose, you have a calling, you have a mission and a service that you are going to give. Don't get it confused with what someone else's assignment is, because then you miss out on what your true assignment is and what you're truly purposed for. So take back your confidence from even you and work daily to make sure it's present in your life so you have what you need to keep moving forward one step at a time.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love it. Okay, so let's try and break it down further. What are a few tips that you can share with professional women, career women living in the workplace and in everyday life on how to be confident or more confident?
So I know for career women, because that was me at one point. A lot of times we get invited into the room, right, in the meeting, and we're sitting at the conference room table, and we immediately get intimidated the minute the room starts filling with the men filling the seats. And there's questions and there's conversations, and we forget that our voice matters as well. And so we often hold back what we could add to, which could actually take the business or the corporation to a whole nother level if we were just willing to speak up. If we were just willing to share our thoughts, share our opinions, share strategies, share ways of changing. But because we're often afraid, we keep it to ourselves. But not only are you hindering your growth as a woman, as a person, as an individual, as a team member, you're hindering the whole team if you're not willing to speak up and share what you have. Because again, your one share could be the golden missing piece to the whole company going to the next level as a whole. So you got to be willing to share. That's one tip. So if you're in the boardroom, share your voice, right? Your voice matters. Another part of that is speak life into yourself. For me, it's daily affirmations. I don't know what it is for everyone else, but it is speaking to myself daily, because we talk to ourselves all day long, whether we realize it or not. And if those thoughts are not positive thoughts, and you never counteract that day with positive thoughts, then you've just created a day filled with thoughts that have taken you on one side, but never allowed you to experience the other side. Another thing is being that team member when you're in the workspace. How do you contribute to the team? Are you showing up and giving contribution, or are you just present? See, because there's a difference. There's a difference in coming to work every day, but you don't add anything to your office space or to your company or to your organization. And so I believe every day we should add something. Our something could just be our presence. Our something could just be our leadership skills. Our something could definitely, most importantly, just be a new idea and a new suggestion that will catapult the company again to its next level. Remember, your voice matters.
Beautiful, beautiful. Those are great points, sharing your voice. And like you said, you could hinder the whole team. Sometimes you never know, because that one thing you're sharing can be the next thing that will move the team forward as a
Yes.
career woman. I remember sometimes in meetings, you're everyone is bringing in ideas, bringing
Mhm.
in suggestions, and you have this brilliant idea, and you're just sitting there and like,
Yes.
oh, I don't know if I should share this idea. I don't know if it's great. I'm shy, or I'm the newbie on the
Yeah.
block. And then before you know it, someone else says exactly the same thing you
Yeah.
were thinking about. And you're like, oh my God, I should have said that. I would have looked so smart and competent and everything.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
yes. So bringing in your value to the table, because it all fits together to move the organization or the company forward. And I also like the fact about daily affirmations. Like that's a great way to start your day.
Mhm.
Sometimes you might be having a bad day, but by the time you start saying those positive things, even your spirit and your mind is kind of
Yes.
motivated. And many times, we see it in even everyday life, like sports personnel.
Mhm.
The coach comes around and is like, yes, we're going to
Yes.
get them. And
Yes.
and we are there and we're like, oh, what happened between the first and the second quarter? These people came back with all the zest and
Yes.
everything. Well, it's the same people, but those affirmative words, those
Yes.
motivational words have really built up their spirit. And it's like, okay, we can do this. Let's go
Mhm.
get them. We're going to
Yes.
win this tournament. So, as career women too, we too should view ourselves that way. And sometimes when we hear even our voice encouraging us, I think it sometimes does more than someone else. Like,
Absolutely.
yes,
Yes. You have
yes.
to be your own cheerleader, is what I call it. You have to be your biggest cheerleader than anything, right? I don't
Mhm.
know if you guys remember, I know this is not Korea, but if you remember the great Muhammad Ali, right? He would always say when he got in the ring, the champ is here, the champ is here. He hadn't even started fighting yet. And he declared himself a champion. And I think that
Mhm.
we have to start tapping into our champion version of ourselves every day, right? And you're not going to always wake up and feel like a champion, but you can change the direction of how you feel before you even touch the floor. You can make yourself become that champion every single day. And then when you get in the office, something bad might happen. The elevator might break down, or you can't take a lunch today. Sometimes you got to, again, take that bathroom break or whatever, that walk around the building, and talk life into yourself. Remind yourself of what it was that you gave yourself that morning so that you can now replenish yourself in the middle of the day. Because there's a lot of work going on. The phones are ringing, you're in meetings all the time. And so sometimes you have to go back and replenish and refresh yourself throughout the day.
Beautiful, beautiful. And how about those that maybe they thought they were confident at one time, and then something happened along the lines and it's taken a while to step back into that place? What is your advice for them?
Yeah. So change is not overnight. right? And so we live in a microwavable society where they say everything happens overnight, and that's not true at all. And so just like it took the time that it took for whatever that was to break your confidence, is the same time it could possibly take for you to renew back your confidence. And so it's not necessarily an overnight step. Sometimes when things happen in our lives, it totally zaps us of that whole zest and energy. And then we have to work back towards building that up. And that is working back towards that in a way that works for you. For me, when I'm zapped of my energy and my confidence and my zen in different spaces because of things, and oftentimes because of my own failures, right? I have to go back into my space. I have to start speaking to myself daily. I have to go into prayer and meditation. I have to really, really seek why did I allow this to happen? And how can I put up boundaries and protection that doesn't allow this to come again? And so it's about creating that space of boundaries so that you can protect your innermost being, because everybody doesn't deserve direct access to you. So you have to be careful with that.
Beautiful. Everybody doesn't deserve direct access to you.
Right.
And many times you don't owe everybody an explanation.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, no is a complete sentence with a period after it. No explanation required, because that saves our energy. That saves who we are, right? Sometimes we go into this whole, we got to explain ourselves out of something. You don't always have to explain yourself out of something. You have to either just say, you know what, I don't entertain that, or that was my mistake. I'll make sure I fix it the next time. Now move on, especially in the workforce, right? You make mistakes, own up to it, move on, or don't own up to it if it's not your mistake and just say that's something we need to work on as a team because it's not working as a whole, right? So we have to be willing to come to and be fair team members, and we have to make sure everybody on the team is fair.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yes, as trailblazing women, we have to own up to mistakes if we make them, but at the same time, not covering up for everyone else and taking on the blame, which women sometimes have a tendency to do. We want to cover up, we want to fix
Mhm.
everything, but sometimes it's not yours to fix. The
That's right.
person that broke it
It's their
needs to
fixing.
fix it.
That's
Yes,
right.
yes. Beautiful. And even as women in the workplace, you also mentioned about contributing to the team. So many times it's not just about us, it's about what benefit, what value am I bringing as a
Mhm.
team member? And it all comes from the place of doing it over and over again till we get more confident and able to do it. Many times, practice and experience and doing it over and over again also builds that confidence skills. So
Yes,
thank you for sharing those. And
absolutely.
are there some things that sometimes um, kind of diminish our confidence that we need to watch out for?
You said, are there some things? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Yeah, what are some things that sometimes diminish our confidence that we need to watch out for as professional women, whether at work or in any aspect of life? I know
A
we've
lot of
talked about some of
okay.
them. Yes.
Some of the ways for, especially in the workforce, where you are passed up on a promotion, right? That alone diminishes a woman's confidence, right? Sometimes where you feel like you're not needed. If you're the team leader and all of a sudden you feel like you're not needed, it kind of diminishes, it could diminish your confidence. But if you spin that where it's not about you being needed as much as it is about you being the leader. Sometimes great leaders are not always needed, but great leaders are always present to offer when expected. And so we can't always feel like we have to be needed by our team. We have to trust that our team works together cohesively so that we're the leader and we're only there to support them, but we don't always feel as though we have to be the dictator of them. You have to be careful to not be a dictator leader, but an actual leader who's there, who's present to hear, most importantly, who's present to serve, and most importantly, who's present to only watch, sometimes, right? Observe and then offer if needed. And so I think that's all, that's needed, because sometimes we get our confidence diminished because we're like, well, they don't even need us. So it's kind of like, why am I the leader? No, you're the leader for so many more bigger reasons than always having to have your opinion heard, right? Or always have to have your opinion voiced. Sometimes it's a matter of just listening. It's a matter of taking into consideration other people's opinions, thoughts, and contributions to the project or whatever the case it might be. Those are one things when you're in leadership. Another thing is you have sometimes where you have coworkers who will often say, oh, okay, yeah, well, that was okay, when they really knew it was a great job. You did an amazing job on the project, and they say, oh, that was okay. Here's what I say. Stop looking for everybody else to pat you on the back and pat yourself on the back. If you thought it was okay, tell yourself, girl, you rocked on that project. You did an amazing job. Start celebrating you, and don't look for other people to have such a celebration for you. So when you're looking for your impact to come from other people, you'll always be shortchanged. But when your impact and your celebration comes from you, you will always be like filled beyond measure, right? Because it's from you and you're not looking for it from the outside. So I always say, pat yourself and celebrate yourself. You deserve it. And if you don't look for someone else to celebrate you, and then if they do, that's just a bonus. But the greatest celebration came from you.
Beautiful. And then when you celebrate yourself, you're not waiting on others to
Yeah.
celebrate you, just like you just said, because sometimes some folks won't celebrate you, even though
At
they
all.
know you're doing
Mm-hmm.
amazing. And, especially for many trailblazing women that are building their brand and showing up on social media, you don't have to wait for the approval of everyone else. As long as you're convinced that what you're doing is building the
That's
impact and
right.
the purpose for which you're doing it. You'll be surprised there are many people who are watching in silence, admiring and wishing and hoping that they were you. So keep your eyes focused, keep your vision ahead of you, and keep moving towards that goal. So I really, really love that. Thanks for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes. And I know you had mentioned about, sometimes being passed up for promotion can be very
Yeah.
diminishing, confidence diminishing sometimes. And I can relate to that because there was a time I was so sure I deserved this promotion and somehow it just didn't happen. But I just had to try again
Yeah.
and keep going and keep showing that value that I brought to the organization. And at the
Absolutely.
right time, it did happen. So we need to know and understand that we bring that value and
Mm-hmm.
continue to show up every day.
That's right. And I guarantee everything that you learned in the process of waiting for that promotion prepared you for wherever you're now standing in whatever position, right? So
That's
sometimes we have to look at it as, if I'm moving out of season, right? And so do I need more time to prepare to be exactly what I need when it's that time for that position? And in fact, we might be thinking we want one position, get passed up, and then a bigger position becomes available, right? That we weren't
exactly.
even thinking about. But if we had taken the other position, we might have missed out on preparing for the bigger position that we're now going to actually have an opportunity to take forth. So I believe that we have to be willing to stand. But there's another caveat to that as well. Here's where I know that they said that men will go into a boardroom and it could be men and women, and they'll say, it's this executive position on the table. I'm talking top CEO executive position, and you need to have A, B, and C requirements. Who wants to be put in the pool? And every man in the room at the table says me. And maybe one woman is confident enough to say me too, although she knows she only have A and she doesn't have B and C. Because see, the men have A and they don't have B and C. Some of them don't even have A, B, or C,
Exactly.
but they put their name in the hat. And as women, we will say, well, we won't say anything. We'll just sit there and say, oh, well, I'm not interested. And that's because we believe we have to go to school and do A. Then we got to get some more training and workshops and do B. Then we got to go and do and figure out C, when we really had everything in us to be just like them and put our name in the pool too. So I encourage every woman, it is our season to step up. It is our season to believe and own our greatness from within. Stop being at the table and not putting your name in the hat. Your name deserves to be in the hat just as much as every other man that sits at that table.
Beautiful. Yes, we're going to put our names in the hats. We deserve this.
Yes.
I love that. Um, so I'm going to bring in one more angle into this,
Okay.
and this is about being overconfident. Is it
Mm.
possible to be too much, too confident? What are your
I
thoughts?
I think that you as an individual, right? There are a lot of people out here who are, so I tell people all the time, I am confident in who I am because I was willing to do the work. I remember the countless days, the countless nights, the countless times where I didn't believe in myself. I didn't love myself. I didn't think I was enough. And so I did the work. So when I show up confident today, it's because I was willing to bet on me. And you ought to be willing to bet on you. And betting on you doesn't mean that you're cocky. It just means that you believe that you've done the work and you believe in who you are. Now, for other people who are just showing up and being as though they think that they just deserve it and they've not done the work, that is a totally different scenario. And so you got to be willing to prepare. You got to be willing to put in the work. You got to be willing to position yourself. And then when it's all said and done, then you can praise what you have done because you know you put in the work. And so, yes, there is such thing as people being a little over cocky confident because they know they've not put in the work and they just expect you to give it to you. Nothing is given without something required. And so if you have not yet done what's necessary for you to give and receive what is required. And so that's what you have to look at from that standpoint, because I know as supervisors and as CEOs, they deal with that all the time, right? People want a
Mhm.
promotion, but have you
Right,
shown forth that you deserve the promotion? Did you
right.
show up every day on time for work? Did you ask if there's anything extra you can help with? Did you turn in your assignments on time, right? Did you come to the meetings? Did you come to the Christmas parties? All of those things make a difference when a top executive is choosing for those next level positions or supervisors. So you can't expect just because you're confident that you deserve the position. That's not how life works.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, I remember um, I saw a poster at work this week, and it had like four pencils that were sharpened, and three of the pencils had blunt ends, and one was still, smooth and sharp. And the inscription below it said, "Of course, you can show up pretty and cute because you haven't done the work."
Yeah, see?
So it
That's
was just
right.
standing right there, and the
Yeah.
others, they had been writing or
They've
whatever,
been, yes,
and
and those other three have been doing all the work to cover for
exactly,
you that are not doing the
exactly.
work, but you want the higher position than each and every one of them,
Oh
although
my
they put in the
goodness!
blood, sweat, and tears, but you
Right.
think you deserve the position over top of them.
Right, right. So if we're showing up and doing the work, then we have every reason to show up confidently and be proud of what we've done and who we are. Thanks for sharing
Absolutely.
that. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, so it's been an amazing time chatting with you today. I'm sure our audience have learned one or two things. The replay will be up on our pages, so you can always catch up if you haven't at Regina's page and at Trailblazer Femme page. And we this month we're showing up every Saturday to have the Living Boldly conversations. And subsequent months we'll be announcing when these conversations will take place. And it's hosted by Trailblazer Femme, which is an executive hub for middle to senior level career women of color to show up and live boldly at work and life while pursuing their purpose, impact, and legacy. So we're so glad to have you on the show today. Thank you for your time and thank you for the amazing gems you've shared with us today. And how can we follow you, Regina? And what do you have coming up on your plate soon?
Oh, awesome. So you can follow me on all social media as Regina Robinson Speaks. I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. And if you're a woman, I have a Facebook community called Unstoppable Women of Faith. And that is again on Facebook. And then if you're a woman, I have my Unstoppable Women of I have my Unstoppable Woman Retreat coming up in Orlando, Florida, April 28th through May 1st. And that's for amazing women. We're going to have an amazing time building our lives, our businesses, and us from the inside out. And so awesome. I, speak at corporations, women's conferences, entrepreneurship conferences on confidence and leadership. So would love to connect to each and every one of you. And again, I'm Regina Robinson Speaks all over social media. And my website is reginarobinsonspeaks.com.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Regina. It's been an amazing time chatting with you today. And we hope to still connect with you some other time. And thank you for your time. Thank you, viewers.
Thank you.
Feel free to drop in in the comments one thing that resonates with you from the conversation we've had today. And stay tuned, stay connected as we bring you more amazing conversations, living boldly at work and at life. I'm Thrive with Dr. B, co-founder of Trailblazer Femme. Have an amazing day.